apologize for coming in late, so rude. I was doing many different things. So today I want to kind of tell you about how I've been using basically a computer tablet and the overhead projected computer and various software to really just use the computer as my chalkboard. I started this about halfway through last semester, and I found it's really great. There are some caveats. You need to get a little practice in it, but it's really helpful, and it just makes it conducive, especially for me, to get class notes uploaded to Blackboard really easily and quickly and without too much fuss. So if I was to make an outline of my talk, I'm just going to tell you why I'm doing these things. The tablet itself, a software package that allows you to just scribble all over your desktop on anything that's going on the desktop called Omnidazzle. And then this sketch software, which is a little more powerful. It's almost like PowerPoint in that you can play with certain figures, etc. But it's quite interesting, and I don't even know I haven't even used all of the capabilities of it. So that's what I'll mention in the conclusions. There's a lot more to learn about it. I wish I had more time. I'm sure over time I will learn more. So why I chose this method, so it starts from a class I teach called the Physics of Music. It's an II course, so it's interdisciplinary. And it's a 300 level, so it's tough, it's rich, there's a lot of information there, but as an integrative studies course, I can only do a certain amount of math. And physicists who are comfortable with math, we love it. It's, math is the most concise language you could ever ask for. But I can't teach my students that way. So we have to do a lot of visualization, a lot of graphs, a lot of analogies to talk about waves and sound and simple harmonic motion, etc. So when I first taught this class, it was just had a chalkboard, and maybe some transparencies, and that was pretty tough. Here at Keene State, I was able to at least use the internet, so I was using YouTube a lot just to do demonstration type videos and some simulations. And then I believe Matthew Kagan,
Reagan.
I believe, Reagan, sorry, I should have put his name up there. I was talking with him, and he introduced me to using a tablet. So this is basically the tablet I have, and it more or less duplicates. It acts like a mouse, and with the pen here, it just duplicates. It's kind of like a one-to-one with your screen. So wherever I move this, the pen with respect to the tablet, I'm moving a mouse on the screen. So so I started playing around with that, and what I really liked about it was the ease with which I can just quickly make a JPEG copy of whatever I've done and just upload that to Blackboard in just a couple minutes. So let's see here. So this is one of like 3 slides I have. So this was the actual tablet I have. It's bamboo through Wacom, and they have various different styles. They have smaller ones. I think Matt lent me a half-size one, and it was okay, but the problem is it's if it's this big and it's supposed to duplicate your screen, it was tough to kind of do writing and stuff like that. So we went ahead and bought this full-blown one, this bamboo. I believe these are newer versions. It was about $100. It wasn't that bad. I thought it would be a lot more. Again, I have not utilized all the capabilities, but essentially it comes with a pen, and it has this plastic tip on it that you can replace. And what's nice is that it actually can tell the pressure that you're applying. So if you write really light, it'll be thin, and the harder you press, the thicker it'll get. That's enough of that. So first off, I didn't even think about it, but I do use some PowerPoint slides, and I found out kind of by chance here. So so I'm just moving my pen around, and I didn't realize there is the pen option. Where is it? Right, there is the pen option on a PowerPoint, so you can draw whatever you like, draw, write, etc. Sometimes my handwriting gets a little flaky, so I don't always want to do that, but I might put like a little diagram up there and maybe just an outline of some of the topics I want to cover, and as we go over them, I'll write them in and pen them in. Now this is particular to a Mac. I don't really use PCs, and it seems like Mac is the way to go with these, but something I also didn't realize is you can just hit, Shift Command 3, and it will dump a JPEG picture of, or is it a PNG picture of your screen right onto the desktop. So anytime I was doing things like this and we'd fill it up and come to a conclusion, I would just print that screen and move on. It's a little limiting. One reason I also do this is the software I have that I'll talk to you about is a little glitchy. And if I write too much, it will crash sometimes. So this is the way it is. It's free, but free is only so free. So I guess at this point, I just want to describe, because that's my last slide there, is what I've been doing. So essentially, there's this software called OmniDazzle, and it's also free. Both Sketch and OmniDazzle are free. Now, OmniDazzle is kind of cute, and there's many cute things you can do with it, but essentially what I like to do is use the scribble. And this enables me to just write all over the screen. So for example, well, before we go on, this is basically telling you what options you have. If you press Shift 1, 2, 3, or 4, you get different colored pens that you can write with. And then I believe Shift, the squiggly sign, I don't know what it's called, will clear everything. It is a little limited, but it's kind of nice in that you can draw right on the screen. So for example, I would use, there's this really neat visualization software for waves. And for so long I've been trying to describe how waves work to my students, but once I got the software I was pretty amazed. So we would do things like, okay, this is a source. You would think of it as ripples in water. Here's a point source creating waves. And so maybe I'd want to show them where the wave fronts are. So I'd click Shift 4 and I would get this blue line and I'd be able to show them, hey, this right here is the crest of a wave. You're just looking down on it. And then I'd be able to show them, you know, every wave front is separated by a distance lambda. And I can draw on the screen. Of course, blue is probably not appropriate. Maybe here's a little red. So it was really kind of neat that I could draw right on this software, right on top of what I'm looking at, and they can really get a much better feel for what I'm trying to describe. I mean, with physics, we got a lot of geometry and a lot of drawing, and I just can't help but have to do a lot of this stuff. And on the chalkboard, it gets a little old, and the students are furiously writing their notes, and I've already moved on, and I might erase the chalkboard. So what I like about this also is the students can kind of sit back and think about it rather than scribble away and try and get their angles right and all that stuff. So, you know, I can append this and say, here, these black stuff are rays, and the blue stuff are wave fronts, etc. And then go ahead and shift Command 3, and usually when the sound's on, you hear the sound of a camera, and hopefully when you get to, oh, I got to erase, whoops, yeah, you can't forget that. And so now I have the screenshot. I haven't used PCs in years. I'm stuck on Macs. I think it's a little bit limited if you use a PC. So here is just the preview showing me my screen capture. And usually what I'll do is I'll go in and edit and grab a little piece of this and make it into another figure. But it is quite helpful. I'm sure it's not the best, that there are other programs out there, but this is free, so you can't complain about that. So that is just drawing on your screen. Like I said, I would get a YouTube video and I'd stop at midpoint and try and point out to the students what geometry or what I'm trying to show them, maybe even do a screen capture of that. The virtual chalkboard, that was the best name I could come up with, uses this other freeware called Sketch, which I guess is something with Sketch. And again, I have not even utilized, I probably utilized 40% of what's available with this. This is an example of what I was doing this morning. So this is like a blackboard. You have over here what colors your stylus can write in. These are even highlighter pens. You can change the, you can make custom colors, etc. Here is your regular drawing, so I can just draw normally or in any color. These will draw straight lines. That is probably one of the biggest uses I have. It's difficult when you're doing geometric optics to be able to draw straight lines. And if you do your geometry right, everything comes out perfect. It's great. But if you don't, well, things don't work so hot. So let's see here. I can draw squares. So this reminds me of kind of like PowerPoint. And what's even better, and I have no end, to no end I enjoy this. I might write something down and need a little more room, so I'll end up moving my own handwriting around. So you can really get kind of creative and make a nice image. So this was actually a decent one. Usually things get kind of messy, and so what I'll do is, if I just hit save, and you can see in this history here, there's a huge history that will save everything you've asked to save, and it'll give you the dates, and it'll do it by day. And what I'll do is, if we're working in class and it doesn't look very pretty, I'll save it and then come back and clean it up later, and then upload it to Blackboard. There are many other options. This share thing, you can upload this to the web, to I believe Skitch's website, and then it could be available to anybody from there. But I just go ahead and you can see that you can save these in various formats. So there's the JPEG if you just want to do photos, etc. But PNG is pretty good, I guess, because it's low memory. But we have all these different types, TIFF and GIF and bitmaps. I usually just stick with JPEG because they're probably the best bang for your buck as far as memory goes. But all you need to do is just click on this drag me thing. As soon as you do it, it minimizes Skitch, and you can just put it on your desktop like so. And if you just take a look, now you just have an image of this, and you can manipulate it as you would. I don't know if non-scientists would use this as much as I do, because I just love being able to play around with the geometry and the boxes, etc. But I'm pretty sure most anybody would get something out of this. You can copy any image you want and paste it right onto this page, and then you can resize it and append over it, etc. So basically what I've just shown you is how I've been using this. You certainly can go ahead and contact me if you have any specific questions, but this is all online, and I found it to be just an amazing, I mean, it's not the panacea, but it sure helps. It sure, I think it helps my students, I would say. I hope that they can more sit back and think about what's going on rather than furiously write. And uploading to Blackboard is a heck of a lot easier. I kept on running to the library and scanning it in, and then uploading it to my flash drive and going to my computer. And, you know, this is a one-shot deal. And so just some of the caveats is, I think with the PC, you're going to have to get a little more software to make it work. I don't know how well it works. I do know that the Skitch software has some bugs in it. I haven't updated it because I haven't really been able to think since the starting of the semester. So maybe there is a good update out there. But there is some glitches, and oftentimes if I just do too much free-form writing, it'll just freeze and it's gone. So that's why you saw in my history that I save like every 2 minutes if I do a lot of writing. So it's not perfect. You do need some practice to get a good feel for doing things quickly, because I can take too much time in class with just trying to get this right, but I'm getting better. But it is great to upload to Blackboard, and I really think the students sitting back and seeing what's happening rather than trying to figure out how they're going to get it in their notes is quite helpful. So I think that's pretty much it. I would say any instructor would at least find this to be helpful in one form or another. I don't use it in all my classes. I don't use it in all my classes all the time. I use it in my physics and music class most all of the time. But in some other classes I'll bring it in here and there just to make better diagrams, etc. We have a room that has a full whiteboard, and off to the side we have a screen, so then I can always put my nice diagrams on the screen and do some work on the side. But I found this to be really, really great, at least for me, and I'm still learning how to use the stuff. So what I explained to you is what I know, but there definitely is more out there. So that's about all I have for you, and thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, I'll try to answer. Yes.
Is there an audio option on Skitch so that you can talk and draw at the same time?
You mean as far as converting it to text?
No, sketching and explaining at the same time.
I'm not sure. I bet you there is. I hit a wrong button once and on the Skitch, and all of a sudden my camera was taking a movie of me on the sketch.
Oh.
So I gotta presume
That was
you
the
could
CIA.
do. I gotta presume you could do a sound file, but I'm not quite sure. I do like it though. I will never go back.
So are you the kind of professor who fills up the blackboard before the students ever come into class and then doesn't touch it during class? Or my real question is, how much of this do you prepare before you go into class, and how much is happening live when you're with the students?
Most of it is happening live, and I have done that before, where you prepare a whole spiel and come in, and again, I feel like they're furiously trying to write and they're not paying enough attention to you. My mantra is that they can write as fast as I can, and so if I write it down, then that gives them time to write it down. I still go really fast anyway, so I have to slow down for them. But sometimes if I have a more complicated one, I will, a more complicated figure, I will bring that in and show that to them, especially if I'm reviewing what we did last time. And again, if they start furiously writing them, I say, hold off, this will be up on Blackboard, but maybe they'll want to, put a little notes to themselves there. So, I used to be that way, but I feel like you're asking the students to do way too much.
So like with the lenses, that drawing that you showed us, you feel like you have enough, you're facile enough with the tablet to be able to draw. I mean, that's not hugely complex, but...
And not, there's some error in there. I mean, I can show you an example this morning how I was moving a little too fast, and so it didn't come out as pretty as I'd hoped. I'm a little OCD sometimes, so I just, I got to get it just right. And it makes my students laugh when I say that, so that's good. But I think I was, maybe it was this one, we were looking at a convex mirror, and things didn't work out perfectly. I mean, it looks pretty good, but it didn't work out as great as I liked. So what I usually do is I'll go back and after class, and I'll fix it up a little bit and make sure it's good. This is actually pretty decent, I got to admit. You can't really see, but like all of these rays are supposed to converge at a point, and they were kind of off a little bit. So what I'll usually do is, in class, I'll start doing the diagrams with them, and if it comes out a little glitchy and not so well, I'll just tell them, look, I'm going to pretty this up and I will upload it to Blackboard, but this is the general idea. And mainly, again, for the purposes of, I can easily just fly and keep going, and so that keeps me kind of grounded to have to actually write the stuff down and have them follow me. Yes?
So you can use Sketch during class, but you can also use your tab. When do you use them, and how do they sort of interact with each other?
I didn't catch all of that. Sketch and...
When do you use the tablet, and when do you use Sketch? Do you prepare stuff at home and then come in and draw on it? Or I guess it looks like Sketch, you could kind of just make the diagrams as you want. So how does the tablet
I do both. Well, the tablet is basically like a big mouse pad.
Yeah.
It's a glorified mouse pad, and there are these little buttons on the side that you can program to do things. I haven't yet. And the pen gives you a little flexibility. I'll do it both. I'll go home and make some notes, especially for myself, to get the geometry right or something like that. But then in class I'll use it also. Not all the time. A lot of times I'll use this just to make a diagram and a couple main points, and then on the Blackboard we'll actually work problems. So it's not I don't do everything on it, but I try to do as much as possible so that my students can get back to it on Blackboard. And so, excuse me.
So if you didn't have the tablet, could you draw it with your mouse on the screen, or would that be
yes,
cumbersome? You
could. It probably just wouldn't be, the tactile drawing with your mouse. I've always found that to be problematic, but yeah, you can do that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a Sketch iPad app too.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Is there?
Yeah.
But I think this is really great. I've always been trying to make sure I get my notes up to Blackboard. I had some professors, some more senior professors say, oh, don't put your notes on Blackboard. This was when I taught in California, because then why would they come to class? And, okay, I see your point, but at the same time, I really think that they should be provided with something. I have a student who's really sick now, and so it's nice to say, Eric, go on to Blackboard, it's all there. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I guess. But I hope you guys at least take a look at it, because I've really found a lot of great things to it.
you may have covered this because I came in like 5 minutes late, sorry, but,
I came in late to the previous one. So.
is the tablet a tablet, like an iPad, for $100?
It's
He's got to wake up.
it's not an iPad. It's what a tablet was before iPad came
Yeah.
around. It's just an electronic tablet, and I've done some funny things. Yeah, at the starting of the talk, I said, this big tablet, it's kind of a one-to-one match on your computer screen, and it's just like a big glorified mouse pad almost,
Okay.
except that you
Doesn't
can use the
have
pen.
The robustness of another different kind of tablet.
Right. It doesn't work independently from your computer.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
It's
just
an
another
input
peripheral
device.
I plug
only.
into my
It's an
computer.
Yeah.
input to the iPad.
It just
only
enables
now.
me to actually
All clear
write.
now.
Yeah.
It's what a tablet used to be before the tablet computer.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Right.
But I love it. I'm never going back. So thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
We seem to have 10 more minutes is allocated to this talk, but I guess we should start at 3 in
Should we
case
wait
some people want to
I
join
can do
us.
some show and tell before the
You can do
official
your thing
presentation
before
if you
it,
want.
yeah.
Are you up next?
What's that?
Are you up next?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we have to set up.
Yeah, and we'll wait
Is the keynote
for the real thing.
No, we're in the Mountain View.
Because I actually am going to do a lot of what Steve did, and I don't want to be the one that says we can do everything